Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers who may be with us for the first time. As always, thank you for those of you who continue to like, share, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Your support, feedback, and comments are very much welcomed, very much appreciated. Keep them coming. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to those of you who keep me so occupied and busy with personal one-on-one readings, new clients as well as regular ones. It's an honor and a pleasure always to read for you, and I'm grateful to be able to do so. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that little About button, and you will see a bit more information on what I do, the services I offer. I do all different types of reading in all different areas of your life: love and romance, couple compatibility charting, career, work, and finance, 6 and 12-month overviews for all the main sectors of your life or specific areas of your life, monthly or bi-weekly readings, channeled messages, cleansings, and so on. You can also see my contact information there. You can email me directly at Maggie, the number one McGuire at gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. Current turnaround time is pretty fast. I do readings full time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. So I'm able to get back with you within the same day of your initial contact with information. And scheduling a personal reading, either live or recorded, can be as soon as a few days or upwards of 3 weeks, but almost always within a 1 to 3 week period of time, we can set up a reading for you live or recorded. So if you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. For less intense or complex things, if you just have one or two quick questions or want a short little chat read, you can also find me on the Instant Go app, which is a phone app for smartphones. Puts me literally at your fingertips and guarantees immediate or very soon, same day answers. It's not for the more complex or specifically focused readings and spreads that a lot of you do, but it's for if you have a quick decision to make, you want to look at something, you have one or two questions, you want just a short little read. You can find me on the Instant Go app for smartphones under Irish Gypsy, and that puts me at your fingertips too. It's just another way of getting just a quick answer, a quick look at something if that's all you want. But for the more intensive and the deeper, more complex looks at situations or specific layouts, just email me through Maggie, the number one McGuire. We'll go from there. So make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. One of them may play out a little more predictably for you sometimes than others. And watching all three, if you know them and if you can just give you additional insight and clarification. It gives you as big a piece of the picture of the time frame that the reading covers as possible. So try to do that. Try to watch sun, moon, and rising if you know them and if you can, because these are general readings. There's so very many of you watching, thousands of you watching. So some of you, it may resonate in one area of your life, some of you in another area of your life to varying degrees. The energy fundamentally remains the same regardless of the specifics of how it plays out in your life. But watching all three can just give you a bit more of a comprehensive look at what's going on. I know a lot of you don't like the longer intro, so just fast forward to the place where you see me start to lay cards down and hold them up, which is almost now. We are looking at Aquarius. This is for the air sign of Aquarius, the water bearers. Aquarius for November 2017. Let us see what November has in store for our lovely Aquarians, November 2017. Okay, Aquarius, we have the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Five of Swords. We have the Queen of Swords, followed by the World, the King of Wands, followed by Temperance, and the Six of Cups, followed by the Knight of Pentacles. From the bottom of the deck, your crowning card representing overall energy and guidance is Judgment. Now, I'm recording these in the last week of October. Time being somewhat fluid, of course, 2 cards for each week, give or take a little bit. So Judgment is your overall energy and advice and guidance for the month, which makes it kind of a significant month. And I'm seeing here that you're trying, it looks like you're spending some time in reflection, assessment, contemplation, or you should be, about whether something is worth continuing, whether something is worth investing in, maybe whether something is it's worth letting go of to explore something new. I see something maybe from the past coming in towards the end of the month, although time being what it is, it could be, any time really during the month of November, but it looks pretty concrete by the end of the month. The fact that your crowning card is Judgment represents that what decisions you make, what path you choose moving forward from this is significant, and it's going to change the course of things for quite some time to come, and it's not a decision you're going to be able to reverse easily, which is what Judgment means. It's a call to action, but it's a call to careful action, and it says there's an air of finality about Judgment, meaning whatever you choose, whatever choice you make, actions you take, is going to have a significant and altering effect on your life, and it's going to set the stage for quite some time to come. Not something you can easily, if at all, come back from or reverse. So make sure you carefully weigh things out, consider things very carefully, particularly any significant decisions or life-changing decisions, um, because you're not going to be able to kind of reverse that. So it is a call to action, but it's a call to careful contemplative action, because it's all about what you do, how you act, the choices that you make. The cautionary advice with Judgment, of course, is similar to Justice, is try to operate with as the highest degree of personal honor and integrity that you have moving forward in this. So that's your overall energy and crowning energy. It looks like an important month. Whatever you're considering will have whatever you choose will have significant consequences or significant changes, or send a significant message. It looks like a learning curve month as well, whether you decide to move forward in something or whether you don't. It's all about learning and growth here. I feel like whatever opportunities are being presented, or perhaps even something from the past, something or someone, could be a job or a person, I feel like it's karmically meant to come back into your life as a potential offer or opportunity. Having said that, it does not necessarily mean that it's karmically meant for you to take it or to not take it. Therein is your learning curve. The lesson I feel for you and the growth is in what decisions you make, why, and how you make those decisions. We have the Seven of Pentacles and the Five of Swords. Pentacles is earth energy, and it usually manifests in that earthly area of our life. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection and assessment. Pentacles can represent money, finance, property, resources, assets, etc. Because it's earth energy, that's the element which governs Pentacles, so it can manifest often in that area of our life. Or that tangible effort, work results in other areas of our life, but the work that we put into things, it's very see, touch, feel kind of energy. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection, of assessing something, of looking at motives and motivations, which is what this woman is doing. It's harvest time. She's planted the seed, she's grown the tree, the fruit has ripened, she's taken care of it, and she's looking to see what her efforts have gleaned. Has it been worth the effort that she put into it? Did she get back what she put into it? Did she get back more? Did she get back less? Is it worth picking and continuing? Is it worth picking and just going off and doing something else, or should she not even bother to harvest what's there? It's a card of looking at what you have, looking at where your efforts have gotten you, and making a decision moving forward into the future based on how you feel about what you have so far, whether it's worth continuing in or whether it's worth investing in. And it's interesting because it's paired with a Five of Swords. Swords is air energy. That's the element which governs the energy of this suit. And it's all about that mental, intellectual, cerebral energy. The suit of Swords its energy is about our words and our ideas, our thoughts, our belief systems, our outlooks, and how it affects the way that we communicate and perceive the world and people in the world. It's also about truth, education, higher learning, insight, all this stuff up here. The Five of Swords also comes with a contemplative, questioning kind of energy. It does technically represent a victory, and I say technically because sometimes it can represent a shallow victory or a victory which comes with a high cost. And you can see this man's just completed a battle, and he's obviously the victor. His opponents or enemies are defeated on the ground behind him. He's gathered up all their weapons, their ability to hurt him, and he's holding his own up because he's won. But he looks tired, worn out, exhausted. He's bleeding from a cut on his forehead. The colors are not particularly all that bright or cheerful. This is a battle which has cost quite a bit. Winning has come at a high cost. The question which always accompanies the Five of Swords is something worth it? Is a battle worth what the cost is? Is it worth continuing if it's an ongoing battle, conflict, or struggle or challenge of some kind? Is it worth continuing to invest in? Is it worth what it's going to cost? Sometimes the people on the ground behind him can represent that it winning may come at, or being right, winning may come at the cost of personal relationships or significant conflict in personal relationships. So the question is it worth it? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes it's no. I've seen this card come up sometimes in a not so nice way when somebody's very ambitious and they're successfully moving ahead, but at the cost of personal relationships or stepping on other people on the way up there. Not to say that that's what this means, but it is a card that represents that if you continue winning or if you continue investing in something, it's coming at a cost, or that's something that you've just finished, or the efforts that you've put into whatever this harvest is has taken quite a bit out of you. Is it worth it or not? So there's this, we're ending October and going into November with this contemplative questioning energy. Is something worth continuing in? Uh, it's kind of a do I stay or do I go energy. And again, this could be, for some of you, this could be because there's this almost a sense of kind of completion that maybe you feel like you've reached a point in this particular situation, job, career, relationship, even friendship or project, where you can't go any further, where you've done what you meant to do, or as things has run its course. Because next to that, and do I stay in it because of everything I've invested in it, or do I move on to something else? Next, we have the Queen of Swords, which I'm reading as you, Aquarius, whether you're a male or a female, and the Major Arcana card of the World. So the Queen of Swords, Queens and Kings represent individuals who've reached the mastery of their suit. They've reached a perfect balance of the characteristic traits. Well, not always perfect. I mean, we are human beings. We all have our good and bad days. But they've reached a balance of the characteristic traits or energy of their suit, of their sign. So this is air, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Could also represent another air sign, but I think for the majority of you, it's you. So the Queen of Swords, sword is that air energy, that mental, cerebral energy. This is somebody smart, if not outright well educated, clear, insightful, all about truth, honesty, seeing reality, what it really is, not what she wishes. This is not a daydreaming, fantasizing type of woman. She typically has a lot of life behind her. She has a lot of experience and lessons learned. Sometimes she doesn't have a lot of patience for people who act foolishly or who can't get straight to the point, because that's kind of what she does. She's a queen, so she does still have that nurturing feminine energy, but that sword shines pretty bright, and it cuts away extraneous fantasy and illusion and BS, and it gets right down to the heart of the matter. It's about thinking more on a logical way and not an emotional way. Not to think completely devoid of emotions, but to look at this situation when you're going through this reflective, contemplative energy. Do I stay? Do I go? It's about looking at the reality of what is in a very clear-sighted, clear reality-based way. Because again, and paired with the world is a card of completion. We begin at the tarot with the Fool and we end with the World, and it's all about his, i.e. our journey and all of the things that we learn along the way. The World is a card of completion. You've reached the top of a mountain. You're at the top of the world. It's been a significant mountain. It has had significance to you. But you're at the top, and it's about looking back and kind of looking at where you started, where you're at, what it took to get you there, looking at everything and kind of considering potentials and possibilities moving forward as well. It's a beautiful card. And again, it feels like perhaps you're trying to decide, it feels like maybe, and maybe this is what you're trying to decide, that have I gone as far as I can go within this? Now, what this is going to resonate differently because it's a general reading. There's a lot of you watching. It might be a career path, might be a job, it might be working entirely. Maybe you're considering retirement. It could be a project. It could be a religious or spiritual path. It could be a relationship for some of you. Have I gone as far as I can go? Am I going to get any more out of it? And if so, do I stay because I should, because of how much I have invested in it? Or do I look at doing something new or transitioning into something new? Now, next to that, we have the King of Wands along with Temperance. So the King of Wands would represent a fire sign, male or female, because it's a general reading. Could also be a more masculine aspect that comes out in a female in regards to a certain situation, but can't be all that gender specific, particularly in general readings. This could be a fire sign individual. It could be a male, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or someone who strongly manifests the character traits of the King of Wands. This is fire energy here. Fluid, active, dynamic, change, movement, action, power. That's the energy of the suit of wands because it's governed by the element of fire. And that's exactly what he is like. Charismatic, dynamic, a go-getter. There's a problem, let's figure it out, let's solve it, let's delegate, let's inspire other people, let's lead, let's get it moving. Very charismatic individual. I'm very, again, action-oriented sort of individual. I often think of Aries when I look at that. So this could represent a fire sign person in your life, or that's significant in this situation somehow in a relationship issue. It could be the other person who's, maybe that you're considering. Could be someone you're in partnership with in business. Again, it's going to vary the specifics, but the energy remains the same. They are significant somehow. There's a need to stay balanced in regards to this again, and I'm getting this strong kind of advice and guidance for you because it keeps getting repeated. Yes, it's a month to make a decision, but be careful about how you make it. The Seven of Pentacles advises you to reflect, to look at it realistically. The Queen of Swords does the same thing. The Five of Swords does the same thing. Temperance, which is paired with the King of Wands. Temperance is about being balanced, holding opposite extremes in unison and harmony, or blending them together in the middle so that things remain stable, balanced, and serene. Being grounded in what you know to be true, to be right, kind of staying in the center. So it could be that this King of Wands individual, that the source of what you need to make a decision on and what you're trying to decide on is centered around this individual. And there's a real need to stay kind of balanced and grounded. And again, do not let your emotions or feelings kind of rule the day or make decisions for you moving forward. We can't be devoid of emotion. It's about balance here, but it's also about being very reality based as well. This could be someone significant in your life that's helping you maintain balance or harmony, or it could be the source of why you need to maintain balance and harmony. And be very moderate in how you're moving forward, because you may just want to, there may be the temptation to just make a decision and move on with it before you've really considered the pros and the cons and weighed everything out. This could be the person bringing something before you, an offer, an opportunity of some kind. Because out or towards the end of the month, we have the Six of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. So Cups is water energy. That's the element which governs the suit of Cups. And it's all about that watery, fluid, mercurial world part of our life that deals with emotions, feelings, and relationships. And it's a card typically associated with the past because it has a strong energy of nostalgia, reminiscence, childhood, family roots, family origin, a time where you felt more carefree and childlike, certainly more open and more giving. It can represent sometimes travel back to see home, family, parents, relatives. Perhaps some of you have the opportunity to do that, or you may be doing that towards the end of the month, maybe to get away, get a different perspective, or to seek out some guidance and advice from your family. And it could be an issue from the past has come up that you need to make it a very careful and considerate decision. It could be a person coming back, maybe a reconciliation or a coming back together to make some kind of offer, whether it's romantic in nature or not. And also in terms of work and career, because it's being brought to you by the Knight of Pentacles, which is earth energy, which is tangible things. It could be an offer of a job, maybe a place you used to work at, someone you used to work for, or something you thought about doing when you were younger, when you were a child, maybe the opportunity to do that. Again, the specifics of how it plays out, it looks like there's something coming from, and it could be an earth sign bringing this back from the past. Could be two different individuals here, fire sign and earth sign. Maybe you're in a relationship or a partnership or something with a fire sign, and there's a different opportunity coming from an earth sign. Could be that as well. I'm not reading that really so clearly, but technically it could be. Something from the past is showing up there, whether it's a job, returning to the past somehow. There's something which needs to be decided upon. It's pretty tangible as well. But there's a lot of contemplative energy, and there's a lot of advice geared towards weigh everything out. Do not choose a path or make a decision until you are absolutely certain it's what you want, it's what you think is right, because you're not going to be able to come back from this. If it's, making some final decision or taking action in terms of a family matter or traveling back to see family, or because there's a sense of feeling like perhaps you're done with something and so you want to move on, but you're trying to decide if that's the right thing to do, if that's the best thing to do. And there's a lot of energy about make sure before you proceed. So bottom foundational line I usually say is, what's the right thing to do? What do you know to be best and true and authentic to yourself? Upholding the strongest sense of honor and integrity. But what you feel is best. What does your intuition tell you? Ask for guidance, insight, answers, solutions. I feel like whatever is coming back potentially is karmically driven, like it's divine timing and orchestration. Having said that, I do not mean, for some of you, this doesn't mean to say that it's karmic that you take it or you leave something and go to something new. I feel like your learning curve, your lesson and your growth in this is in the decision making process and what you decide and how you decide, and what you decide to do at the end of the day. Not necessarily whether you say yes or no, but the decision-making process itself, because it looks significant. I mean, your overall energy being judgment. What are you going to do and how are you going to do it? It's important. It's going to send a message not only to the people that see it or that, but to yourself as well. It's going to set the stage for something for quite some time, and there's an energy that it sets a stage in terms of having to do with your character as well. So it looks like a significant month, and potentially, potentially learning perhaps a lesson in what's really valuable and important to you, which means wisdom and growth and insight. So beautiful, beautiful Aquarius. So that pretty much wraps up your November 2017 reading. I hope you have enjoyed it, that at least some of you have found it useful or given you some food for thought. Thank you for watching. And again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, just go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that little About button that says About, and when you click on that, it'll give you information, shows you what I do, what I'm about, all the different readings I offer. And for those of you who are interested, you can send me an email at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. That contact information is listed there as well. I would be most happy to work with you. We can schedule something for you as quickly as possible. For those of you who are looking for instant or very quick or same day answers for just a quick question or two or a very short little read, nothing too complex or in-depth, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instant Go under Irish Gypsy. That's a great way for if you have a quick decision to make, something you want to touch base on really quick. For the other traditional readings and spreads, send me an email and we'll schedule something for you that way. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks, Aquarius, for the November 2017 mid-month readings. Until then, as always, I wish each and every one of you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.